Nora's Story, Scene 1. This will be the first of my Polly on All Sides series. The first short story. After hearing this, please give this 100 likes in order to get part 2. I will only give you the second portion of this if I get 100 likes. Thank you. Please share. Nora's Story, Scene 1. I'm running on 3 hours sleep, bruh, but I'm alright, Carlo said while on the speakerphone that played through his car's sound system. He slightly hopped up on iced coffee, cashews, and a pear to get him going. It's mandatory with them, man, so hurry up. I'm heading in the shower now. I'll be a little late. Probably slip in the crowd unnoticed. Francis, how is it I was up part of the night and still on time, but you slept a good 7-8 hours and late? Bruh, 'cause I don't care to be there, he said. I'll sneak in. They not worried about me. They're focused on impressing the investors and partners. Hey, what happened with you and Nora last night? What you think happened? So you finally smashed. We got better acquainted, but a gentleman never tells, right? Yeah, you acting like she your girl or something. Don't she got a man? I connect with her more though. Alright now, how you got her is how you lose her too. Remember that, Francis said. All the women in the world and you chasing ones with whole lives built up. You must love danger. That's my middle name, sir. I'll see you later at the site. Later. Yep, later. Nora brought up having a husband a few times. Carlo never wanted to see any pictures of the guy to avoid feeling guilty. Being a side dude wasn't anything new to him. At first, he tried treating this situation as a smash and dash sort of deal. But then, commonalities were discovered, such as favorite sports teams, a love for basketball, and guilty pleasures they hardly told anyone else. What started off as great conversations every so often ended up blossoming into them slowly courting for nearly 18 months. Carlo gradually ignored and stopped talking to other women because those key connections weren't there. The sex was cool and some of it pretty off the wall. But after the lust drained from ejaculation, he couldn't wait to leave and see what his special friend had to say about those he kicked it with. They were closer in age than Nora and her husband, who was 25 years her senior at 54, her recently turning 29, and Carlo at 27 years old. The age and financial differences played a part in this. Nora felt obligated to stay since Douglas invested in her dream of commercial real estate development. She went to graduate and real estate schools on his dime. When she needed someone with good credit and a decent net worth to raise funds for her first project, Douglas made it his mission to support this cinnamon-skinned mogul in the making. His connections in the financial sector as a trading house co-founder, guidance and decisiveness filled a gap reserved for a father figure since her dad passed away in prison when she was small. Douglas was one of the few black men with such pull, looking up to men like Reginald Lewis. As he talked with this ambitious assistant in his financial wealth management firm, he grew smitten. Nora reminded him of his first wife who died while giving birth to their third child. She was tall for a woman, at around 5'7", and shaped like Dorothy Dandridge, a classical beauty from 1940s and 50s movies he saw at summer matinees growing up in the 1960s and 70s. Nora never missed a detail and worked longer hours to make sure Mr. Douglas James got things done early. Nora's mother was a middle school dropout who worked menial jobs and did the best she could by instilling good morals and work ethic into her daughter. Her mom was the lead housemaid for a private hotel for years, prior to Nora convincing her to retire after Nora made $17 million from her first big deal. She did this before her 27th birthday. This was another reason why she liked Carlo so much. He and Francis, both high school homies, took over Francis' parents' security company after they completed military service. They did IT work while in the U.S. Air Force, so they not only supplied manpower, but offered to upgrade a building's surveillance systems as well. Carlo's wanting of bigger clients and a gained ability to sell won Nora's personal cell phone number. One business brunch turned into another where a deal was done for this current project Carlo was headed towards near Highover Beach in Miami-Dade County. She respected his humility, charms, and that he was his own man, a leader of others as president of paid security company. She took great satisfaction holding Carlo's deep brown hands and hearing his baritone voice when he shared a point of view. Nora loved Douglas, but couldn't bear not having Carlo around. In 4-inch heels, she saw eye to eye with both of them, with the younger lover more muscular in body. Each man had tangibles that indicated why many women would fall for either of these bright and steady patriarchs. Before last night's late-night rendezvous at the Lowe's Hotel on Miami Beach, Nora gave him his first luxury watch at a bar on Cocoa Walk in Coconut Grove. Carlo was in awe and grand appreciation being gifted the stainless steel Omega Speedster with a navy blue dial that complemented the metallic hands and grayish time markers. They both stood up as he hugged Nora. While in this embrace, his senses gathered pheromones blended with the Dior de J'adore perfume his lovely lady applied. A slight moan escaped Carlo as her warm body pressed into his stomach and chest area. "Thank you," he said before kissing his lady love. Others in the bar became blurs of memory while the fluid motion of their lips and mouths continuously found one another. When they came to their senses, Carlo waved the barkeep and paid their tab. Each made fast paces over to their room on the 4th floor facing the beach. The momentum of her body jumping on him caused them to fall on the bed. Their time spent stimulating one another non-physically became their foreplay. Saliva from his tongue glided on her bosom after Nora sucked on Carlo's neck. Her wet warmth commanded that his thrusts remained loving. They exchanged emotional signs of trust while face to face. "I loved you since our first date in Miami Lakes, and I need you in me always," were some of the confessions made. When they finished, each were covered with one another's perspiration. Just before 3 in the morning, Nora left for her penthouse home she shared with Douglas near Golden Beach. She knew he would be sound asleep until 6 a.m. Carlo had the foresight to carry an overnight bag with a spare business casual outfit, shoes, and other essentials. "Francis J. Pade of Paid Security Company, here you go," said the security guard at the parking lot across from the construction zone. "I don't think they started yet. I didn't see Miss James Edwards' car pull up." "Excellent. I'm still on time," he said while placing his name tag on his shirt. "It's 9:17, so they should get going by 9:30, 10 o'clock. "That's what it looks like, sir," the guard said. Francis pulled out his cell and called Carlo, who gave him instructions on where he was located on the site. Carlo saved 2 glazed crullers and a bottle of water for his homie, figuring all the donuts would be the first eaten from the refreshment table. It was a bit breezy, so he covered up the confections with napkins, which prevented dust from landing on the treats. The two men stood in the rear of the crowd, totaling 193 in attendance. Along with investors and other partners, news reporters, city, and county officials were there to either be a witness or give a speech. Carlo Xavier Manning. Why'd you put your old name on your tag? And thanks, bro, with the snacks. I'm hungry. Ain't nothing. But yeah, I wanted to be professional. You got your family name on your business, so I gotta stand out somehow. You sure you don't need to put Miss Carlo James Edwards Jr. on there? Oh, so you funny now, he said. Speaking of Nora, she hasn't shown up yet. There's only some guy in a gray suit and pink tie looking like an old school player on Easter Sunday up on stage. She's probably waiting until 9:30, giving us latecomers a chance to show, unless you rocked her to sleep with your dog ass. I hope I didn't, cause she needs to hurry. It's already 9:35. I should try calling or something. 9:45 was when Nora James Edwards graced the podium, face made up flawlessly. Her naturally loose and curly black hair from the night before got placed into braids that wrapped into a neat bun behind her head. Covering Nora's upper torso was a pink blazer, sleeves rolled up as if she were the site's foreman. Underneath the blazer, a purple sleeveless sheath dress that reached her knees in length. Her 3-inch pink heels had purple bottoms and detailing around them. A set of white gold and pearl earrings with matching pearl necklace gave Nora an added touch of class. She must have had her hairdressing stylist on standby, Francis said. Yeah, because we went all in for a while. Her hair wasn't neatly packaged like now. They took a tour of the site after putting on white hard hats. While doing so, near the two friends was the guy in gray with the pink tie. He asked a ton of questions as they went along. This guy must have invested his whole life savings the way he's interrogating Nora and her board of members, Carlo thought to himself. He gotta be a first-time investor. Standing shoulder to shoulder by the guy while on the site's elevator, no name tag was visible. So Francis and Carlo gave the inquisitive man a nickname which loosely matched who he favored. If Stanley from Friday doesn't shut his ass up with these questions, I need to get back to the office, Francis said. This thing was supposed to wrap up an hour ago, but this man wants to see floor plans, the history of the soil samples, and everything. Hey, if you gotta go, I'll handle it from here. You showed up, Nora saw that you came, and she'll understand. You're a CEO. Your time is money. My man, I'll catch you later then. I'm meeting with those folks from the gated community in Kendall that's changing management. Wish me luck. Yeah, fam. Go get that, Carlo said while giving Francis some dap. And try not to get caught up with your girl. Y'all stay having long conversations like church grannies after service. Whatever, man, Carlo said while laughing. We also gotta go over the blueprints of this building again to figure out the wiring layout for the 17th floor. The contractors need our input by next Monday. I got you, Zopape, I got you. 45 minutes after Francis drove away, Nora and Carlo were face to face by her car. They made dinner reservations for 9 that night to celebrate the press conference and show an appreciation for what transpired earlier that morning. They hugged and kissed each other lovingly before going about their scheduled days. When 7:30 in the evening hit, Carlo made his way home to get ready. He called before leaving his condo to confirm if all was well, and pulled up to Ruth Chris 10 minutes early and waited out front for Nora, who arrived minutes afterwards. I feel so flattered and honored about what you did just now, he said. What'd I do? You don't see it?
See what? What are you talking about?
The fact that you're meeting me here is more important than your site tour and press conference this morning because you're actually on time.
Shut up. Open the door, she said laughingly.
They entered, sat down, and looked at the menu. Both were dressed formally, with Carlo in all blue, including his socks and tie, and Nora in a light green and violet African-style dress. Her light green purse paired well with her shoes, of the same color. The violet lipstick accentuated Nora's full lips, while the watch Carlo was gifted the night before added flair to his outward appearance. He got a trim and shape up 3 days before, so his deep, dark waves were still relatively fresh. Both laughed, discussed daily life and work stories. Each looked into one another's eyes, embracing this moment in time. Carlo savored each bite of the 22-ounce ribeye, as Nora kept it simple with mushrooms stuffed with crab meat. A 2011 Pinot Noir was ordered over having dessert. In mid-sip, a tan-brown hand found its way onto Carlo's shoulder. He looked at it and noticed a white gold pinky ring which held a pink jewel on top. Nora looked up with a slight smirk across her lips, as if a friend were playing a harmless prank she seen coming. "Excuse me, brother. How may I help you?"
Sorry to bother you, son, but you're enjoying this meal with my wife.
"Wife?" Carlo said with slight confusion on his face, and heart rate escalating gradually. He looked up at the guy.
How you doing? Douglas James Edwards, he said as he removed his right hand from Carlo's left shoulder, then extending it for a handshake. I see you two are having a great time. You joining us for dinner, Dougie? She said. It's a bit late for my digestion, but I'll have a glass of wine to lull me to bed. So, young man, how'd you enjoy my wife last night?
To be continued. Get me to 100 likes, a few shares, maybe some subscribes on the way out, and I'll guarantee to get started on doing part 2 of Nora's story. Thank you for listening. Stay blessed.